Hello everyone, this is Sudipta from Technical Potpourri and welcome to my new video. We are in 2026, so the first thing, wishing you all a very happy new year. Today in this video, I'm going to deep dive into Salesforce Spring 26 release note to cover every major flow enhancement. This release is all about two things, UI control and builder efficiency. Finally, Salesforce is giving us the power to build beautiful branded experience within Flow without writing a single line of CSS or any custom LWC. I'm very excited. So let's dive into the Spring 26 release org and explore all these major Flow enhancements. The first feature which I'm going to cover is all about how you can style your Salesforce Flow screen. So for that, let me bring up this flow and open the flow. Actually, let me start by creating a new, and it has to be a screen flow. So I'm going to click on the screen flow, and here I'm going to select the screen element. And the moment you come here against the screen, you have this option called style. So what you can do here, you can first select the background. So currently it's all white, right? So let me change the background to something a little blue, little this color, and it changed automatically. So basically if you have a brand, if you have a custom branding, you can put your background color here. The border color, let's choose black. Here you can choose the radius. So if I put 2, it looks like this. If I put 2 and pixel, then it will look like that. So it will be a little black border. At the same way, you can choose your header style, header font size. Like for example, if I choose here, let's say 3, it looks very small. So if I took, let's say 50, this is how it looks like. At the same time, we have these buttons, right? The footer button like pause, previous, finish. We can also customize them. We can also style them. So for example, next or finish button, like this button, right? We can make it a circle like this. We can put a border. We can change the color to green. We can change the text color to black and border color. Yeah, similar way the previous button, we can change it to round again. We can change the width of the border, the weight of the border. We can leave this, we can make it, let's say a blue. And color, we can choose white. This is a pause button. Here again, we can make it like this and put a border here. This time let's choose a different color, let's say yellow, and choose the text color as black. So look, this is how your flow screen will look like when you render this flow in the record page or whatever you want to use that flow. Basically, after the Spring 26 release, you have the power to customize the look and feel of your Salesforce screen flow. And when I'm talking about the customization, these are the things that you can do. You can change the background color of the flow. You can change the border radius. You can put a border color. You can put the border weight. Similar way, all the buttons, like the footer buttons, you can also change their color, their text color, their width, their radius. So it's a very handy tool. You don't need to write any custom CSS or you don't need to write any custom LWC. If you know your branding, then you can put those branding color here and then it will be automatically rendered. So I think this is a very powerful feature. Without writing a single line of code, you can make your flow look as per your organization branding. I'm very excited about this new feature. So the next feature which I'm going to talk about is after the Spring 26 release, you have the power to create a record triggered flow on content document and content version. So if you are dealing with Salesforce files, then you know these two objects, content document and content versions, are very important. So before the Spring 26 release, building any kind of automation on this object was a little bit of difficult. So now, and Flow was not supported definitely. But now after the Spring 26 release, you have the power that you can write your record triggered flow using these two objects like content version and content document. So all you need to do, you need to click on new, and from here you need to click on record triggered flow, and it's exactly the similar where you need to select the object. If you choose content, you'll find these two options will come up, which is basically the content document and content version. And you can basically create the similar way, like when a record was created, updated, created or updated or deleted, you can put your triggered flow on all these scenarios. So this is also a very powerful enhancement. Next feature which I'm going to talk about is LWR File Upload. So basically, if you are creating a flow for your Experience Cloud pages, LWR site, be it authenticated, be it unauthenticated, and you want to give a functionality like where your user will do some kind of file upload, right? Before Spring 26 release, you need to write your own custom LWC. But now, after the Spring 26 release, you don't need to do that. Salesforce will provide you the flow component which you can use within your Salesforce screen flow, and then use that flow inside your Experience Cloud site so that your authenticated or unauthenticated, whatever be the user, that user can go and upload their file. So let me show you how it will work. So I'm going to create a screen element, and here I'm going to select file upload, and then this component which I will bring it here. On the right side, you will have all these properties. Here you will give the API name, you will give the file upload label, what are the different formats that you want you to allow. For example, JPEG, PDF, definitely you don't want exe file to be uploaded. Those are security concern, right? So you can put what are the different formats that you will allow, whether you'll allow the multiple files or not, content document IDs against which it will be linked, and then content version IDs, then related record ID, uploaded file names. So all these things you can configure here. So you don't need to write any more your custom LWC component for that. After Spring 26 release, Salesforce will provide this functionality by default. So this is also a very powerful enhancement. Okay, with that, it's time to move to the next feature. So the next feature which I'm going to talk about is the improvement in the flow debug functionality. So for that, let me open a record triggered flow. For example, let me open this flow. Okay, it's a record triggered flow. And let's say I am going to debug this flow. So for debugging this flow, these are my debug parameters which I'll set. What is my initial account? And then I'll click on run. So this is my debug happened. So now the beauty here is that if I go back to my edit flow and come back here again, whatever I've selected before, it remains there. I don't need to select it again. So basically, Salesforce will remember your debug parameters and it will keep that for the next debug run. It will only delete if you go ahead and refresh the browser. So if you go and refresh the browser and come to the debug, then your previous debug parameters, whatever value that you set as an input to the debug, that will be gone. Otherwise, the moment you select something as a parameter to your debug functionality, it will be remembered as long as you are in the same session. So I'll not say it's a major enhancement, but it's a functionality or it's an enhancement which I'll call as good to have. Okay, with that, it's time to the next feature. So the next feature is all about when you are creating a flow test, you can assign the flow test to the individual flow versions. So that's very important. So for that, let me show you this flow. So if I show you this flow, it has two versions, version 2 and version 1. So if I open the version 1, this is the version 1 which I'm opening. So in the version 1, all I'm doing is basically every time an account is created, I am making the renewed field to true. That's what the version 1 is all about. Now let me open the version 2. This is the version 2 where I am also doing the active flag is true. So version 1 is only changing the renewed flag to true. Version 2 is changing both the renewed and the active flag to true. Now if I go to the test, here you see I have two tests. One is where I am testing only for the renewed field. So renewed field is present in both the version 1 and version 2. That's why I'm assigning this test to version 1 and version 2. But whereas test for both the fields, active and renewed, that is only present in version 2. It's not present in version 1. So that's why I'm assigning this only to version 2. So basically when you create a flow test, you have an option. This flow test you assign to which version 1 or version 2. If you have multiple version, all those versions will be here. So this feature is very powerful feature. Just think in this way. Why we create a new version of a flow? When there is already a version and we are creating a new version, our intention can be two. Either there is something wrong with the previous version, we are fixing that, or we are adding a new functionality to the old version, and that's why the new version we are creating. So when we create a new version, definitely the test from the previous version has to change. So that's why when you create a new version, the test from the previous version will automatically come to the new version, but then you need to go and modify the test to make sure it covers the new scenario. If you don't do that, it will start failing because the new version has a different functionality and your test, which actually was made to cover the previous version, is not valid anymore with the new version. So that's why this feature, I believe and I think, is a very important feature. The flow is basically a point and click. It's a very powerful tool, but the test in flow will give you the power to follow the test-driven approach, test-driven development. I believe this is a very powerful feature and we should all make sure whenever we're creating a new flow version, at the same time, we should also update the flow test and assign that flow test to the updated new flow version. So I'm very excited about this new feature. Let me know what do you think. Okay, with that, I'll move to the next feature. So next feature is basically you can now display your data in a Kanban board inside Salesforce Flow. Yes, it's crazy, but it is possible within Salesforce Flow. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So here I am inside that screen flow. Let me first fetch all the opportunities. And all records. That's all I need. I'm fetching all the opportunities. Now let me add a screen element. So once you are here in the search component, type Kanban and this option will come. So you select it here and this is where you will configure your Kanban board. So I'll show you how you can do that. So first let's give it a name, show ops, and label as all opportunities. And this is where it will start. First thing, from where the value will come from. So value will come from the previous get elements. And here you can configure the columns. So I am doing based on type. Look, it automatically came. Here in the card, these are the individual cards. Where here I can do, by default name will come. I can choose the amount. Card header field is name. Here I can choose amount. So amount will come. I can choose, let's say, created date. Created date will come. I can choose a footer and here I can choose close date. And yeah, so close date will come. We have two options for the column. Either we can show in a simple or we can show in a path. So this is how it will look like if you select path. This is how it will look like if you select simple. You can group the columns. So if you select group, you need to select group by what? So let's say group by stage name. And then it's already doing a group by stage name. You can show the summary field and here you can select, let's say, amount. And then this is how it will look like. So it's a very powerful tool to show your data in a Kanban board. Currently, as of Spring 26 release, it's a read-only view. So you cannot change, you can drag and drag components between different columns. You cannot do that. It's totally a read-only view. but I'm quite sure in coming few releases, we'll get the feature of interactivity within this Kanban board. And then this is going to be an awesome feature. Think this way. You want to change the status of an opportunity, or you want to change the type of the opportunity. You want to move the opportunity from here to here. All you can do, just drag it from here to here, and then in the back end, the type is getting changed automatically. So this is going to be a super cool feature, but it's a good start. I'm very excited about this feature. Okay, I'm seeing error, so I need to give a name. This is screen 2. And click on done. Okay, with that, it's time for the next feature. So the next feature which I'm talking about is called the flow canvas crawling. So think about a flow which is a big flow and it's not fitting within your screen, within your monitor. Then going up and down in the flow is a little challenging, right? Sometimes it becomes a little challenge. So after the Spring 26 release, Salesforce will give you the feature to scroll the flow in all 4 directions, up, down, right, and left. So let me go to the flow and try to open a flow. Let's sort by the flow level. And let's say I'm trying to open a cancel item flow. So as you can see, it's a big flow. And after the Spring 26 release, you have the option to go up and down. At the same time, you have this option to go right and left. So basically you have the feature, you have the power to scroll in all 4 directions. So the next feature which I'm going to talk about is how you can collapse your branching elements. So consider this big flow. This big flow is very difficult to navigate. But here we have multiple branching elements, right? So let's say these are branching element, these are branching element, these are all the branching. From here the different branches happened. So now what I can do, I have the power to collapse these branch elements and only concentrate on the other things. So for example, here I can, against the branching elements, you will find this arrow, drop arrow, you select that and you basically branch this entire flow. So that way you can concentrate on one single branch rather than entire flow being open and very difficult to navigate. So this is a very good feature to navigate a big flow, as flow is becoming more and more powerful and popular too in the Salesforce ecosystem. So people are more building flows which are quite big and handling multiple functionalities. So I think this feature will help them to debug or understand an existing big flow. So the next feature is all about when you have a subflow and there is some input and output to the subflow, how you can easily understand what is the input, what is the output. So after the Spring 26 release, it becomes much more descriptive. So for example, this is a big flow and from this flow, I'm calling another subflow. So if I open that, you will find these eye icons. So if you click on these eye icons, it will show you what the subflow is all about. These are the all input values. If you hover on the eye, it will tell you from what is this eye is all about. So with this new feature, it will be very easy for you to understand what are the input values and output values that this subflow is expecting or will return you back without opening the subflow in another tab. So this is also a very helpful feature, I would say. So the next feature which I'm going to talk about is that after the Spring 26 release, you have the power to add a visual distinct message inside your screen flow. So I'll show you how you can configure that. So let me go back to my screen flow and let me open that. And here, if I search with message, this new option will come. So drag it here and this will come. Here you have the option, either it's an info message or a success message or a warning message or a critical message. Depending on what type of message it is, the background will change. Like success will become green, warning is orange, and critical is red, info is this, and you can put the content also. This content can come from a label or you can put your static content. But best practice is put your content in a custom label and refer that here. So for example, hello world, right? It will come here. And then you can select when this component will be visible. You can choose the component visibility. So this is a feature which will allow you to add a visual message component inside your screen flow. And depending on the message type, it can be a success message, it can be a warning message, or it can be a critical message, or can be a simple info. So the next feature which I'm going to talk about is how you can open a flow in Lightning Experience with a URL. So let me open this flow. And as you can see here, we have version 2 and version 1. So in your browser, let me duplicate that. And all you need to do is basically, you need to type /lightning flow and your flow name. So my flow name is flow style. So if I come and put it here, this is the URL. So you put this URL directly in the browser, what it will do, it will open the flow for me. So now with the URL, you have the power to open the flow. And not only the flow, you can also open the flow version. You can pass different parameters to the flow. So I have a dedicated blog where I covered this one. I'll put the link of the blog in the description, so you can go to my blog and see how you can pass different variables, different inputs to a particular flow. With that, the last feature which I'm going to talk about is how you can compare flow versions. So for that, if you come here to this flow, and if you see the version, I have version 2 and version 1. And if I want to do a compare between version 2 and version 1, how can I do that? So you come to this page and you click on this drop down and select compare version. This new window will open up. Here you will select, I want to choose with version 1 and version 2 is the latest, and click on compare version. It will show you the differences. This is a connector which got changed. These are the things which got added. And if you click on view details, it will show you also the detail of the change. So this is also a very powerful feature to understand what is the change that happened from the previous flow to this new flow. And that's all for today. I hope after watching this video, you know now that what are the new flow features that are coming to your org once Spring 26 will be live. So if you like this video, please hit the like icon and share this video with your friends, with your colleagues. And also please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon so that next time when I'll publish videos like this, you will be notified immediately. Please let me know what is your favorite flow enhancement from Spring 26. And if you want me to cover any particular scenario, any particular topic from Salesforce, please put that in the comment section of this video. In next couple of days, I'll be publishing more videos covering Spring 26 release. Till the next video, stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.